You're listening to Homeschool Unrefined. I'm Maren.
And I'm Angela. Let's encourage each other, laugh, and get real about homeschool. Welcome to the podcast where we keep homeschool simple, real, and fun. You've got episode 75 where we Q&A.
Hello to all of our listeners. We are so glad you're here again today. Thanks for continuing to come back every week and spend some time with us. We love talking homeschool and life with all of you. If you would like to support our podcast financially, we would love to have you go over to our Patreon website. And there are 3 levels of giving there, and that just helps us spread this mission, this vision of keeping our homeschool simple, real, and fun, and where we can just have this platform where we're not worried about what everyone else is doing, and we're just here to support each other. And so if you'd like to support that mission, please go over to Patreon. Our Patreon, it's at patreon.com/homeschoolunrefined.
Yes.
Yep.
And then you can get our new podcast called Off the Record.
Yes. And and then there's also, if you get the $8 level, you can be in a Voxer group with us, and a $20 level where you get one-on-one Voxing with us. And there's more to come.
Yep. Yeah. All right, Maren. So, our kids are in soccer camp this week.
Hallelujah.
I know.
Yeah.
For like 2 hours a day.
I know.
It's not that much, but it's okay.
It goes by so quickly, but
I know.
I feel like I've just been able to breathe every day. It's kind of a breather. It's so nice.
So what have you been doing?
Let me think. What did I do yesterday? Can't remember what I did yesterday already.
Yep. Forgot. What'd you do today?
I went on a long walk.
Oh yeah.
I went on a long walk, and then I mowed the lawn.
You did?
Yeah. And those are 2 things I really love to do. I love mowing the lawn.
Wow.
Because I like to be outside.
Yeah.
I like to be active. And then today I went to Costco, which was less exciting, but needed to get done. And it was very nice to go without kids.
Yeah.
How about you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's nice to go. It's nicer to go without kids.
I think you enjoy Costco less than I do.
Oh, really?
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think the lights and the atmosphere is tough for you. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I don't enjoy it either. No. For sure. But time away from my kids is, I'm like, and I had a podcast on the whole time.
Oh.
And I feel like whenever my earbuds are in, I feel like it just tells the whole world, like, don't talk to me right now.
Right. I'm having alone time.
I'm having alone time.
So what'd you listen to?
I listened to Dax Shepard's podcast.
Yep.
Armchair Expert.
Yeah. I love that podcast.
Yeah, I do too, actually. I mean, I sometimes really like Dax, and then sometimes I get a little annoyed with him, but I really love his interviews. So
I really like him, and I really like his wife, and I don't care what that makes me.
Unashamed.
I'm unashamed of how much I like them and watch their Instagram stories.
Yeah, good. You're pro Kristen and Dax.
I am. Yeah, but I love his podcast too. Yeah. I think we were talking, he's really vulnerable.
He is. Yeah, that is so true.
And I don't know. I think I think that makes him a good interviewer.
Yeah, I agree. It is much more of a conversation than an interview.
Right.
It's like he talks as much as the guest.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. And they're like friends of his.
Yeah.
So you're just listening in on a conversation between 2 friends, basically.
Which ones have you liked?
Okay, well, I loved the first one with Kristen Bell.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
That was if you're new to this podcast, it's brand new. It's a few months old, his podcast, right?
Yeah.
And so he doesn't have that many episodes out, but the first episode was with his wife, Kristen Bell. That was a really good one. I love how they talk about marriage. So
yeah, and they're real open about going to counseling and which I think is such a good message.
So good.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And then I loved the one with Ellen because Ellen doesn't do interviews.
Yeah,
so I just like any chance.
And that was a really short one. It was a really short.
short. Yep.
Especially because his episodes are like 2 hours long.
Yeah. So Ellen's wasn't. Ellen's was only 53 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. My other favorite was Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Did you listen to that one?
I did. Yep.
Oh, I loved it. I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know if that one struck me really, except that, well, I just think it's so interesting because I always think of celebrities as in like one level. They're just like at the celebrity level.
Yeah.
And Dax is talking about, like when he finally got like a big, the big gig with Ashton actually on Punk'd. And he was like, I was so starstruck.
Yeah.
He was like, what is my life right now? I cannot even believe it. So I love hearing those kind of stories.
Right. Right. And they were talking about being fathers and traveling with their wives.
Yes.
While their wives do movie shoots. I like that.
Did you like that they talked about the book that we loved when our babies were little? Our kids were
yeah.
little? The 5 S's. Yeah. Happiest baby on the block.
Yes. Yes. And they went through all 5 S's.
Yes, they did.
That impressed me.
Oh, yeah. They know them so well. They're in that stage more than, closer than we are.
Yep, for sure. I like Jimmy Kimmel. Did you listen
I
to
didn't
that
know.
one?
I didn't hear that one.
That was a good one. That was a really good one.
I didn't even know that was on.
Jimmy Kimmel seems like an Enneagram 6, I'll just say.
Oh, really? Why is
kinda
that?
Connected. He's got some fears and anxieties
Okay.
that rival mine.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, those were probably Katie Couric.
Yeah.
Love Katie Couric.
I know.
Oh, and then my other favorite, I'm sorry, I'm going through the list, Joel McHale.
Yes, I just finished Joel McHale's.
So what I loved about that one was he and Dax both have dyslexia.
Yeah.
And they talked about that.
Yeah.
What that's like.
Yeah.
And I loved hearing them both talk about that.
I know. I can so relate to that too. When I hear people who have dyslexia talk about having dyslexia, I just think, I totally have dyslexia.
Really?
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, totally. So I could so relate to them. Oh,
Really? Wow.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? What are your other favorites?
Well, I really like Joel McHale. I just finished listening to. I'm almost embarrassed.
It's okay.
I just listened to his interview with Anna Faris, and that is only because
it's okay. It's fine.
No, I know. I'm embarrassed. Why?
Why?
Because I wanted the scoop on her and what's her husband's name?
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know what happened there because I was pretty sad about that. They broke up.
Did you find out?
Not really.
Okay. Yep. Did you listen the whole way through to see if they were going to finally talk about it?
Pretty much. I was waiting for it. It's worth it to me. I really liked Adam Scott's also, and that is just because I really like. I mean, I really like Adam Scott when he was on the not The Office, Parks and Rec.
Okay.
And I think he does kind of quirky roles that I really like, and I think he's just kind of a quirky person. So I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. So Angela, that was a big tangent. What did you do? What have you been doing while our kids are at soccer camp?
Well, I did listen to a little of Dax Shepard podcast, but
you did
mostly. Let's see. Today I went to the library and just sat there and did some stuff on the computer.
Nice.
Kind of boring. And then I ran a couple errands. I got gas. This is great audio.
Riveting.
I got gas. And I went to
But
the
hey,
UPS
that
store.
takes up 10 minutes of your time, of your 2 hours. So.
I listened to a podcast the whole way, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's nice out.
It is so nice out.
I know.
Oh
so I'm already trying to plan out what I'm going to do for the next the last 2 days of soccer camp.
Oh, yeah.
I got to make it count.
Oh, I know. I totally agree.
I think tomorrow I'm going to read. Only. Just read.
That sounds great. Maybe I will do that too. I was thinking about that because reading always gets pushed out.
I know.
In my schedule.
You can't do the thing that you could do with your kids there, like dishes, because you're going to get that done anyway.
You have to do that. So why would you do that during your quiet time? Alone time. Don't
never.
do that. No, I am secretly hoping that my doctor, I go to my chiropractic neurologist every week, and then they tell me what food I can add back into my diet.
Okay.
And I'm secretly hoping they're going to tell me I can have coffee this week
Oh.
because my kids are gone and I want to like have a cup of coffee.
When do you go?
Drink a book. Drink a cup of coffee and have a book to read. I go tomorrow. So it would be
you
on,
can have it for your last day.
it would be on my last day. Fingers crossed.
Do you know that, like, have they told you coffee's coming?
It's coming. Yeah, they said it's coming soon.
Wow.
I've asked every week.
Yeah. I'm proud of you. That's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. I know.
Hey,
you haven't had coffee for a while.
I haven't had coffee for a while, and it stinks. If anybody has a good replacement, I need a daily morning ritual that I can get excited about.
I know.
And
haven't
what I
found
miss.
one.
That's what I miss about coffee. I mean, tea. No, I mean, I'll drink tea, but that's not exciting enough for me to be.
No, at the beginning of this, when I had to cut out coffee right away, I started making tea every morning, and it just sat there. a full cup of tea. It's just, I really tried. Maybe I didn't have the right ones, but
right. I always feel like maybe I gotta find the right kind of tea because I can't have caffeine tea, so it's like herbal tea, which is, you know. So then I think I would even make something like creamy or like, I feel like it would have to be warm and creamy. So I'm like, well, coconut milk, something with coconut milk. Ugh, I don't know, but I can't have that much coconut milk.
You know, a friend of ours was talking about having a matcha latte.
Yeah.
Matcha latte, which I think doesn't actually have espresso in it. It's like not really a latte. It's not like.
But does it have caffeine?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I
haven't looked into it. But somebody suggested I try that, and I just haven't yet. But
okay. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. If
I did
know, any listeners, please chime in.
Yes.
Help us out here.
Yeah. I did want to update. Your loving this week last week was Michelle Wolf's Nice Lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I promptly that night watched it. I went and got my free HBO 7-day trial.
So glad. So glad.
Which actually expires tonight, so I better.
So you better.
I think I gave myself a reminder on that. I hope. I got to cancel that. Anyway, it was really funny. I loved it.
Okay, good.
So much.
Good.
My kids were at play practice at night, and I was like, I'm going to watch this by myself.
Because you can. I know. You can't watch it when the kids are around.
Oh, no.
Disclaimer, everyone. I feel bad that I didn't say that last week. You cannot listen to this with your kids.
Well, I think most people know when you're suggesting a comedian.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't you think?
Right. I don't know. I mean, if you don't listen to comedians a lot, you might not know that. I feel like a lot of comedians are just. I mean, that's just the culture of stand-up comedy. I think.
Yeah.
It's pretty. I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word is.
Me either.
Okay.
No, but I loved it. So thank you for the recommendation. So if you haven't watched it, you could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really scared to ask you what you thought of it because I was like, what if she doesn't like it?
Oh, no. I loved it.
Okay, good.
I texted you throughout it. The funny stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's because I asked you. I was like, which parts do you like?
Yeah. Okay. Well, today we are answering some of our questions that we got when we did our bonus episode.
Yes.
We did a bonus episode and we asked people for their questions, and a lot of you submitted questions, and we only got to some of them in our bonus episode. So we are going to get to the rest of them today.
Right. We're going to get to more of the homeschooly type questions, especially.
Yep.
Because the other one was more about just getting to know us personally, and so we wanted to kind of put these together for you.
Yeah. All right. Let's start with our first question.
Yeah.
It's somebody said, I would love some thoughts on how to pick great read alouds for a big age span.
Oh, yeah. That is so tough. I think that's a big challenge for homeschool parents.
I think so too. I don't have a big age span of kids.
Yeah, you're right. You don't. I mean
mine are 9, 11, and 13. So, if I had a 2-year-old, this would be
right.
a real be a real challenge.
That is so true.
So with my small age span, what I try to do is aim for the middle or slightly above the middle.
Yeah.
So it can entice my oldest, but then my youngest still might be interested.
Sure.
What do you do?
I think that's great. I sometimes in my mind, I think I need to, so my kids are 11, 9, 9, and 7. And so sometimes I think I need to reach the 11-year-old because if she's interested, everyone will be interested. That's what I always think.
Yep.
So I used to do that, but then it was too hard for everybody. It was too hard for at least my youngest, especially.
Yeah.
And I just thought it's not really fair to her, to my youngest, and it's causing a lot of disruption. So I think I just try to change it up. I try to change it up. So I read different levels of books. I read different genres of books.
Yeah.
And then, like the spring we were on Narnia kick where a couple of my kids, I was just going to read one more of the books because we do one every once in a while. So I was going to read the next installment and then move on to other things. Well, we finished that book and then 2 of my kids were like, please, can we please finish? Can we read more? Can we read the next one? And I didn't want to squash that excitement. And then the other 2 were like, I cannot sit for more of these, Narnia books. So I decided to let it be optional. Yeah. If you want to listen to this book, stay and listen. If you don't. And so I think I'm going to do that more often too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think the other thing to remember is that, I let my kids listen to their own audiobooks, like either, on their iPods. And so this, I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself. Yeah. This has to be good because this is what we're reading aloud. But really, they're going to get books other ways too.
So true.
And so this should be fun.
Yeah.
And so I try and pick something funny.
Yeah.
Or something with a message that I want everybody to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of try and pick it purposefully or pick something that maybe I know they won't get somewhere else because they're not going to choose it on their own.
Right. That's really good.
Yeah, but if they're not if they're not interested in it, just let it go. It's okay.
Right,
just
exactly.
Like you do.
Yeah, and sometimes I just stop reading the book too.
Oh yeah.
This isn't working for anybody.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I think that's good to show your kids. I'm not going to keep reading this book.
Right.
It's not going well. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
And then I was also going to say I think we have to kind of adjust our expectations on our kids listening to us and first of all what it looks like. Because some kids are never going to sit still during audiobooks but they might or during read aloud time, but they might still be really listening.
Right.
Or they might really not like read aloud time. And that's okay too.
Yep.
It's okay if they don't love read aloud time. I think there's a lot of shame in that. I've heard that from lots of parents. Like my kids just don't like read aloud. And I think sometimes we place so much emphasis on that. And then they're like, oh, well, we're not doing that. And then they feel super bad about it.
Right.
And so it can be short. It can be so short.
Keep it short.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Especially for younger kids. For younger kids, keep it short.
Right. Well, another thing I do too is just do a couple short picture books, then get into a chapter book. And then if your youngers want to fall off and do something else, they can.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. That's so good. All right. Next question. Have you gone through phases where you are more involved with larger homeschool groups and then less involved, where you just focus on and foster just a few key relationships with your kids? Do you find that your kids' closest friends are fellow home-educated kids, or do they end up being from clubs, groups, hobbies your kids are part of? Just trying to get a sense of how much larger group homeschool involvement is important versus encouraging just a few more closer relationships.
I think this has changed for me. Yes, this has changed for me as we've gone through the years. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if it's just my family or the ages of my kids. I'm not really sure. I'm sure it would be different for everybody.
Yeah.
But I feel like when my kids were younger, their friends were fellow homeschool friends or my friends' kids.
Right.
Basically I kind of picked their friends.
Right.
Or they hung out with other kids because I wanted to hang out with the parent.
Right.
And they weren't friends necessarily with people from like a larger group setting, except that we did go to a part-time homeschool, which you did too.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had some friends there.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was mostly just kind of one-on-one relationships. But as my kids have gotten older, especially my 13 now and 11-year-old, they are involved more in, well, they're involved in theater.
Yep.
And that's one of the things they're involved in. And a lot of their friends come from there. That's really exciting for them to keep returning to theater because a lot of the same kids are there. And these kids are public schooled or they're schooled all over the place.
Yep.
But they all come together for this theater. And so that's
great.
really exciting.
Yeah.
And then in between theater, they text each other a lot and sometimes they get together. And so I think that is now, we're kind of transitioning.
Right.
Well, but although we do still have some homeschool friends who we get together with, and my kids are with them on a more one-on-one basis.
Sure.
So I guess we're doing a little bit of both. But I would say as they're getting older, we're transitioning to like the clubs and groups types of things.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. How about you?
I would probably say the same thing. Well, I feel like all of our kids went to this homeschool academy kind of thing where they went 3 days a week, and that just felt like school almost in a way. You know, that felt like full-time school almost. And so I felt like that's where their friends were, and they still keep in contact with some of those friends.
Yep.
Although we don't see them, on a regular basis anymore. And I think we haven't found our niche yet, to be quite honest with you. I don't think it's important to do it one way or another. I really liked that we didn't dive into a lot of co-ops and activities right away. I felt like it was almost an overload of socialness when we were at the homeschool academy, and then we almost had to like de-school from that for a while.
Right.
And social wise, and then and now I feel like we're ready to turn a corner there now,
right, and have a little bit more involvement in something.
Yeah, exactly. And our kids are ready for it. I'm ready for it.
Yeah,
I'm ready for them to have a social life outside of our my friends, kids, and those kind of things. So we're in a transition period for sure. I think next year is going to be different for us. It's going to look different.
Yeah.
And I will always treasure the 2 years that we didn't do a ton.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so glad we did it that way.
Yeah.
But now I think we're really going to enjoy something different too.
Right. So. And that might be partially your kids getting older too. Their needs are changing as they're getting older.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think that's so true. I mean, when they're younger, they're happy to play with anybody.
Right. Right.
And I think, and it's good. I think it's very healthy and normal for kids to have preferences as they get older. Like, I'm interested in this, and I need people to be around me who are also interested in this, so we can feed off of each other. I think that is so good.
Right. Right. All right. Next question. Yes. How do you narrow down curricula when everything looks great?
Oh, yes. Another good question.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer this one?
Oh, well, I can start. I guess I probably don't. I take my time, and I don't buy anything right away. Yeah. Probably, unless it's really cheap, like a little booklet.
Yeah.
Or I'm really compelled. I hold off on buying things until I am sure. Because what happens is I'll read about something or be introduced to something and think it looks amazing and want to get it right away. But really, if I just wait a little bit, then I might change my mind. I might calm down a bit and change my mind.
Yeah.
So I guess my first step would be to just wait a while and see what rises to the top. See what if you're still thinking about it a little while later, then maybe. I read a lot of things online. I try to read, watch videos or read about other people doing them.
Yeah.
So I know a little bit more about it. But I am, on the whole, I would say hesitant to commit.
Yeah.
to a curriculum.
Right. I know. And we've had episodes about curriculum, which you can all go back and listen to, which I think might be helpful for this question.
Yeah.
Because we really dive into kind of our philosophy on curriculum and how what we've learned is that the curriculum really needs to serve us and we shouldn't be serving the curriculum. So for me, I just think if it's something that is going to, I ask myself, does this line up with my values and what's important to me and what I want to teach my kids? That's what so because sometimes I think what happens, and this has happened to me in the past, I just think, well, this curriculum is all inclusive. It's got everything, so I don't even have to think about it. But then I actually realize, yeah, it's all inclusive, but it's not how I like to teach. So that didn't work out. I've done that before.
Yeah.
So just because it looks maybe easy, that's not a good indicator necessarily to me.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I also, if I know anybody who's using it,
yes,
I ask to see a copy or ask to look at it physically. I think that helps.
Right. Yeah, and it helps to know, I think, when I ask people too, and it helps to know what they value as for homeschool too. Right. So like if our values line up and our goals for our kids and things like that if that lines up, then we might be onto something if they're doing it and we're but if they have a completely different style of homeschooling, and they're using it's just hard to know. Like, how do you know?
Right.
You don't know if it's gonna work. So
and then if it does not work for you, it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. Just sell it as soon as possible so you can get more money for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Before the next edition comes out.
Right.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. Yeah. And yes, it's okay. I think we said this on our podcast maybe last week. Add in slowly and drop things quickly. Like if it's not working, it's okay to just drop it.
Right.
You don't have to phase it out. just drop it.
Yep. And don't feel guilty, because that happens to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
That has happened to all of us. So
right. Yep. All right.
Next, is there such thing as catching up from the previous school year? Like, if we feel behind on certain subjects or grade level, has anyone ever completed the year in the summer?
That's a great question.
Do you want to try, Maren?
I would say I'm learning to not do that for myself.
Okay.
Now, I know some people do this, and I think it's fine. This is not me saying nobody should be doing this, but for me, I don't think it's worth it to me. I think our kids' minds continue to grow and mature, and they learn skills over the summer that they can use to learn during the school year. They get a lot of good things over the summer, so they're ready to learn in the fall. And I think learning happens whether we are teaching them or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning this more and more in real life.
Right.
I think I've known this in my head for a long time, and I'm sensing it now. I see it in action. My kids are learning, whether I'm teaching them or not. So I think giving kids a good break it's totally worth it. Right. To give them a break and let them be refreshed and ready to start whatever we have back in the fall again.
Right. I mean, I would say if this is if it's important to you and it's working for you, it's fine to do that.
Yes.
I just think the break is really important. So whenever you're getting the break, it might not have to be in summer, but whenever you're getting that break, you should be taking a good break.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking, I think we talked on the podcast last week about how, what we're going to do in the summer. Right. And I was saying, I really want to finish our math curriculum because it's this online thing and you can see how far they've gotten and see how much they haven't finished yet. My tendency is to just want to finish that out and make them finish it. But I just think they need the break, or they just need me to not tell them that they have to do it. So I was thinking I might give them a choice to do it, and then they might get some kind of prize or something if they do more things. But more of the things in the math, but I don't think I'm going to require it.
Yeah.
Some of my kids like to do the math. So, hey, if they want to
do it,
go for it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Next question. I loved the episodes of what you don't do. Would love to hear more.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many. There's so many.
There's so many. So we're just going to talk about a couple things we don't do right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Because, well, I mean, I think we'll probably have more episodes like this too. So we'll just do a couple.
Right.
Here.
So one of the things I don't do, I talked about this before, but it's the season, so I need to say it again. Yeah. I don't do any gardening or like really any landscaping. I try and keep the most minimal amount of landscaping possible.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to do it. I would love to have a garden. I think they're pretty. I'm tempted.
Yeah.
I went to Costco and they had like hanging baskets.
I know.
And I was like, oh. And then they had these big potted plants, and I was so tempted. And I was like, no, you cannot do that because it will die.
Yeah, I know.
And then you'll have to keep it up and maintain it.
I know.
So I can't do that. I can't. Yeah. I am not good at it, so I just can't. I am envious of people who are, but it's not me. So,
yep. Good for you.
Should I keep going with mine?
Yeah, do it.
All right.
Going.
Another thing I don't do is I don't wash our floor.
Wow.
We recently moved into this house last August, and our new floor is like dark wood. Mm-hmm. And in our old house, our floor was like white.
Oh yeah, so you had to wash all the time.
So we washed it at least once a week on our hands and knees.
Oh my goodness.
Because it gets so dirty. Well, I realized this floor is that dirty.
Yeah.
It's the same amount of dirty as our old house. It just can't see it.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot see it at all. So,
so maybe it's not there. Let's just pretend it's not.
So we have a little debot,
Yeah.
And then we sweep. And then about once or twice a week, my kids, they have jobs. And one of them is to take like it's kind of like a Swiffer.
Sure.
But it's not the Swiffer. And it just has like a mop on the bottom of it.
Okay. Is it wet? Does it?
Yeah, like
wet?
so it's like a microfiber towel that they get wet.
Yeah. Yep.
Then they spray vinegar and do the microfiber towel. I mean, it's probably still dirty under there. The floor is probably still dirty after they do this. I cannot tell. I don't know if it is or not. So
Angela, I think that's what most people do.
Okay.
What you're describing is probably what most people do. I'm guessing.
Okay.
I'd love to hear from people though.
Well, it is I'm pretty sure that they don't I don't even watch. I don't think they wring it out or respray or anything. I think they just they're just taking this thing, like kind of wet thing all over the floor.
Yeah.
So there has been one time that Jeremy was like, I cannot handle it.
Yeah.
And because he's really clean. And so one time when I was gone, he made the kids get on the hands and knees and wash the floor. So they did it once, but I'm not doing it anymore.
That's awesome though. Way to go. Wow, that's just so liberating.
It is. So all of you with light colored floors, I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Because we had that for a long time, and it is, you have to watch when you have a light colored floor.
Yeah.
People see it, so you kind of have to.
It's so funny. I was just thinking today, I have to clean my floors, but I'm going to wait till soccer is over.
Oh yeah.
Because it's just getting so messy this week. The floor is getting so messy.
Don't you have a dark floor?
We do, but I can tell with the cleats on. I know the rule is no cleats in the house, but still it happens. And then it's just so gross. It's so gross.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
And then I feel like with the dog, we've had dog for like 4 months now. It's like another level of like
dirty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's dog hair. We get all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of embarrassed now that I said this. Because you still wash your floor, and your floor is as dark as mine.
I have maybe washed. We've lived in this house for 2.5 years. I've gotten on my hands and knees maybe once, maybe twice.
Okay.
But otherwise, we do what you do. So.
Okay. All right.
You're good.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, another thing I don't do is, this is new, and it's a trial, and that is we're not monitoring screen time.
Wow.
Yeah. And we've been doing it about 3 weeks.
Yeah. How's it going?
Well, for 2 of my kids, it's going awesome. Going really well. Yep.
So when you say it's going well, what does that look like?
They have they know how to balance their time.
Yeah.
They get their stuff done. They have other interests.
Yeah.
And then I have one child who would like to be on screens all the time.
Right.
So it's probably not going to be our long-term solution, or at least I would like it to be our long-term solution for the 2 who it's working for. Because it's working.
Right.
But so I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do, but for the time being, for this trial period, I'm not monitoring it. It feels so good. Feels amazing to not have to think about that. Yeah.
Good. That's so, I mean, I'm just trying to imagine, like, I was just thinking about this the other day. How great would it be for me to never have to say to kids, it's time to get off your device. It's time to get off. Because it's like so tough.
Yeah.
For some of my kids.
Right.
So tough.
To have to get off. Yeah.
But then again, I do feel like if I didn't monitor, they would be on all day. So I don't know. Oh,
well, they were on a lot for the first probably week, and then it tapered off. And I had to be prepared for that right away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was very hard for me not to be like, you have been on that for 3 hours.
Right.
But yeah, it tapered off a little bit.
Okay.
So that's good.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and my last one, I'll just say one more, is I don't make breakfast or lunch anymore, and mostly I don't make dinner either.
So you have such a good life, Angela.
Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It sounds great though.
I do manage the cleanup of all those meals that they're making on their own, and that is almost worse. So I kind of want to go back to when I made them lunches, because then there wouldn't be this big mess.
Oh, yeah. I know. So do you think it's worth it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because do your kids make their own breakfast and lunch?
Yep.
And are they choosing veggies and fruit to go with their meal?
Okay, so I usually just cut up fruit and veggies and put them out. And I never say a word about it. I never say anything. I mean, sometimes I will sometimes put them, on their plates or whatever for them.
Oh, you do?
But usually I don't. Usually I just put it out and they get eaten up. So.
But is it your same 1 or 2 kids eating it up and then you have some who are avoiding? Because I feel like that's what would happen at my house.
I don't know. I feel like it'd be the same as if I pushed it on them.
Probably.
So,
right.
Yeah. I just like to I have fruits and veggies out a lot, just out. So
yeah,
that's all I can do.
That's nice, because then you don't have to think about it otherwise. Yeah. It's really nice.
I can't care that much. I mean, I do care that they eat it, but I cannot control it. I can't control it.
Yeah. Good for you.
But
so when your kids make their own breakfast and lunch, are they, so I mean, my kids are making like a big, huge sandwich or like, eggs, or I don't know. They're making, one of my kids will take a whole can of tuna and like mayo and mix it all together. Like, whatever.
Yum.
And so it does make a lot of messes, and it really does bother me. But
yeah, I know. I have a philosophy about this. I think especially my kids are really good at the beginning part, starting things, and they're hard. It's hard for them to close things up and finish off. So I can't expect perfection from them. Yeah. And yet they have to be learning and growing. So my goal is always to remind them without getting angry at them. So even I have to remind my oldest to clean up, and she wants to remember, but she can't. She can't. Yeah, she has a hard time remembering a lot of things. So like, and I can tell she feels so bad. I'm so sorry, Mom. I will do it. I will. I really want to do it. And so it's just, I have to keep reminding her, and I have got to keep my temper in check.
That's so good. That's so good because I have a real hard time with that.
Me too. Oh, I do too.
You do? Oh, okay.
Those are my goals, though.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And not dinner. You don't make dinner.
Well, okay, so my girls make it sometimes. And
Yeah.
then my because they're the oldest.
Yeah.
And then so I would say I make it like once or twice a week.
It's great.
The other times we just like figure it out.
That's a great ratio. I love that.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah. Anyway, how about you? What are you not doing these days?
Well, for me, like I've said, it's really I'm very lazy about cleaning. I wouldn't say lazy.
Don't say lazy.
No. I do think of it as lazy sometimes, but I can't. So I just feel like I'm very low key about cleaning. I have our kids do daily. They are supposed to wipe down the bathroom sink and table, or the vanity and mirror, and then wipe down the toilet.
Daily.
Daily, we just do that. That's
okay.
just because it's just a couple minutes, and then we don't have to do like a big clean.
Yeah. Okay.
And it gets our vanity is just it's very old, and so it needs to get cleaned every day. Otherwise it's bad.
Yeah.
So so that kind of just happens every day. So I really don't clean the bathroom very much or ever.
That's nice.
Every once in a while when it's my oldest daughter's turn to do the toilet, to just like wipe it down, I'll just say, "Can you clean out the inside too?" Or,
Yeah.
She'll be like, "Yeah." So then that gets done, which is so great because I don't enjoy it. Our sheets don't get changed until my husband is like, "Maren, this is getting really bad."
Okay.
Our sheets.
And then do you say, "Go ahead"?
Yep. I say, "Okay, let's." Oh no, I'll say, "Yep, let's do it together," because I can't do it by myself. I'm not gonna do that on my own. And
really?
We have, I just don't care that much. I just don't care that much. I just don't. So.
Do you have kids or other family members eating in your bed though?
No.
Because I do. So that's what prompts me to change it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would
when
be
I get into bed and there's a few pieces of beef jerky.
That's the worst.
I know it's time.
Crumbs.
Yeah.
Then you know it's time. Yeah. If that were the issue, I don't think I'd be able to handle that. I'm trying to think. Oh, I really don't do laundry anymore. I guess I do my own laundry. I do mine and Sean's laundry, but I was inspired by you and got all my kids to do their own laundry now.
Yeah.
Which is, now I do manage that, especially for my youngest. I have to go with her and do that a lot, but I just feel like I would so much rather be training her to do it than be doing it myself every week, kind of, grumbling about it, I'd much rather be training her to do it. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel like laundry is a big, huge job for me.
Yeah.
Because it's just me and my husband. So,
yeah.
That's so great. It's not overwhelming.
I still feel like it's a big job for me. I don't know why. I think it's just the managing. I'm still managing a lot of it.
Yeah,
me.
I'm managing too. I am. But also, I'm managing. The managing for me, though, is you got to put yours in the dryer now so somebody else can put theirs in the wash. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
My husband also, he'll do all the towels and dishcloths, all that kind of stuff, because he's like, I know where those go. I can put those away. Whereas with kids' clothes, like if we had a whole pile of kids' clothes, he'd be like, I don't know who's who is like, this is just overwhelming. But he can do that, so he does that, which is great. Yeah.
Good. All right. Let's move on to our last question.
Yeah.
I'm a relatively new homeschool mom. My kids are 8 and 9. I really enjoy your philosophy and approach. My question is, can you give a more detailed account of what your daily, weekly schedule looks like? How much freedom do you give in terms of what you expect your children to work on? At what ages? Do you assign work? How academic is it? Thanks so much.
This is a great question. It's a big question.
It's a big question.
A whole episode on this.
Yeah, have we done a whole episode on this?
Maybe. If not, we should.
I feel like we've done a whole episode on curriculum.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, I feel like that was pretty much answering this question.
And we did, I remember maybe before that episode, you and I agreed that it was so important to talk about what we actually really do.
Right.
Because I think a lot of times we've said this before, it always seems like everybody's doing so much more than you're doing.
Right, because I think people talk about the things that they're doing but don't tell you like how much they're doing it.
Sure, yeah.
They might say like, I'm doing this journal and I'm doing this math program and you're envisioning them doing all those things every day.
Right.
And really, they're just doing it sometimes.
Yeah, we did talk about that. I remember now.
Okay, so yeah, that was episode 61 where we do a curriculum check-in.
Okay.
And we talk a lot about exactly what we do there.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we talked about a schedule necessarily on that one. So we can talk a little bit about that now.
Sure. I'll just go first and just talk about our regular routine during the day. So I have 2 kids who usually get up early, and I let them do they either read or they can do learning apps on their iPad in the morning time. So there are learning apps that I really like, and so that's a great time for them to just do for them to just do that.
Yep.
Because I am not a morning person. I don't like a lot of activity in the morning.
Yep.
I like it to be nice and quiet.
Yeah.
So, and then kids start making their own breakfast, and I start making my breakfast in the morning, and then we kind of lounge around a little. This is what I like about homeschool. And then my oldest is always the last one up, and she will get up between 8 and 9 normally. And we let her do that because she has such a hard time falling asleep, and she always has since she was little.
Yeah.
And this is like, I think it's so important. She needs to do that. Now, I would like to get started earlier, but it's okay. We're going to go with it. So 9 o'clock is everybody has to be up, even my oldest. And I usually start read aloud. And I do that usually right away at 9 or soon after, because my oldest is not usually, she's so tired. She doesn't need much else except to come up to the couch and lay down on the couch or whatever. So we can dive right into read aloud. And then that is usually, let's see, we usually end maybe between 9:30 and 10. And then everybody does their chores right after that normally, if they haven't already. Some people who've been up for a long time are done with their chores. But they have to finish their chores. And then I usually have a list of things to do on the board.
Yep.
And it's not a ton. It's usually math, which is on our computer, and it is very quick. It's a journal or some kind of writing activity, and that's usually very short too, 10 minutes. Reading, everybody needs to read, and that usually happens, some people just put that off until, right before screen time in the afternoon, because that's like a lot of times just my kids don't want to do that. They don't want to read necessarily on their own. So they can push that off till whatever. It's fine.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think, there might be a couple other things to do, some projects that my kids are working on, but I think those are like the main things we do every day.
Yep.
But a lot of it is just, my kids are
free,
I don't want to say
independent
free time,
work, independent working.
Independent work time. Everybody's working on something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes that means that's listening to a podcast. My oldest loves to listen to podcasts, and so I feel like there's so much she's learning, so much, way more than I can teach her in those podcasts. So I think that is so great. And I usually have somebody listening to an audiobook.
Yeah.
I usually have a couple of kids making up stories, writing, a lot of times writing them down, starting businesses, or they'll set up a shop in our house for their siblings or whatever. That happens a lot. And those are all things that I feel like is very much homeschool.
Right.
So I love that. And then I make sure our kids get outside. And then usually at about 2:00 in the afternoon, they can have screen time.
Yep.
And that usually goes till, I like to say it's 1 hour, but it usually when it's 3, I'm like, I am not ready to talk to anybody yet. So sometimes I let them keep going. But yeah, and then after, I feel like between screen time and dinner is just very relaxing. There's maybe a game going on, outside time, basketball, rollerblades, whatever, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ours looks really similar to yours, I would say. We also do read aloud early. We probably get up a little bit earlier than you, because my husband likes that. And so we get up early, probably 8, do read aloud, and then everybody kind of does their own thing. Independent work time after read aloud. So that's when they do jobs. That's when they do brushing teeth and making breakfast and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they all have their independent things that they're working on. And I would say if they buckle down and work quickly, they can get that stuff done really easily.
Yeah.
Some of my kids do that. Some of my kids stretch it out and have lots of breaks and rest time in between. And I'm okay with that. But it's not an overwhelming amount of stuff. I would say, at the most they're working until 1 or 2 in the afternoon, probably. Like you, they're doing math, they're doing reading, they're doing some kind of writing, maybe an app or 2, maybe an online class, maybe working on like a Kiwi Crate project, stuff like that. And as my kids get older, the older ones have more to do than the younger.
Sure.
So it's increasing in responsibility.
Yeah.
Good. So
I do feel like our day is filled with learning, but it's not written on the board. Like there are a few things I really want them to do. But our house, I think what's more important about our day is like I've worked so hard on filling our house with things that they can learn with, so whatever they're going to do is going to be great because what we have around is good stuff.
Yeah. You've prepared the environment well.
We've prepared the environment. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. But if you wanted more details about exactly what curriculum we're doing, you could go back and listen to that curriculum episode.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we're going to have time for today. But thank you, everybody, for submitting your questions. And if you submitted a question and we didn't get to it yet, we will get to it in a future episode or maybe on Instagram stories.
Yeah. Or a live. I was wondering, maybe we should do an Instagram live.
That'd be fun.
Where you and I can both be on.
In separate locations?
Right? Don't they have that new feature?
I think you can. We've never tried it. We should.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Next week sometime, maybe.
Sure. All right. Should we move on to loving this week?
Yes, LTW.
All right.
All right. Angela, what are you loving this week?
Okay. I am loving a podcast series.
Great.
Yep. This is from Smartest Person in the Room with Laura Tremaine.
Oh, yes. I love her.
Yeah, I do too. She has a series on her podcast called Bias. And it's really good. She's doing it with her friend. And her friend is mixed race.
Yeah.
And so they're having conversations about race together.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Which is so great. So Laura is coming from the perspective of a white person and asking her friends lots of questions and really being vulnerable, which I like.
Yeah.
And I'm just learning a lot. I think there's 4 or 5 episodes out now. I would highly recommend it.
But I cannot wait to listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great.
So good.
Good.
Yeah. How
And
about
is
you,
she
Maren?
done? Is she done now with that?
Well, I don't think so. I think there's always more coming.
Oh,
yeah.
great.
And then she has a website with like a list of resources if you would
So
like to do
nice.
further reading or learn beyond what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great.
I love watching Laura Tremaine's Instagram stories.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you?
I do. Yep.
I just feel like she's so insightful
Oh, yeah.
on a daily basis.
Yeah.
When she starts to feel some way, she'll come on Instagram and just talk about how she's feeling and how she can have perspective on that somehow. And I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Maren, what are you loving this week?
Okay. I am loving a show on Netflix, and it is called Dear White People.
Oh.
And now it's definitely, based on the reality of our country, for sure, with, the race issue for sure. And then also I think it's satirical, like there's got a comedic beat to it for sure.
Okay.
There are things that are funny and yet definitely just speak truth into what's really going on in our country, and I'm loving it. And it comes from the perspective of this group really of African American people at a college. And I haven't even gotten very far into it, but the first 3 or 4 episodes are about the same situation from like 4 different views of African Americans. So it is it's just I think it's so well written. It's unlike any show I've ever watched. Definitely just because of like how it's talking about race, and then also just the genre is so interesting. It's so different.
So what kind of show is it?
I know. I don't think there is a kind.
So what do they do? Is it a...
Well,
it's not a sitcom.
Is
it a drama?
It could be a sitcom. It doesn't have an audience necessarily. It's kind of a sitcom. It's kind of a comedy.
Scripted?
It's scripted.
Okay.
It's kind of a drama.
Okay.
Dramedy.
Okay. And it's scripted.
What it is?
Okay.
Yeah, it's scripted. Yeah.
So there are actors.
Yes. Yeah.
Regular actors that come back.
And they're all so good. They're all so good. Yeah.
All right.
So I may have been drawn to this because, there was actually a movie called Dear White People, which I haven't seen.
Oh,
I want to see that. Now I definitely want to see it. But I remember a couple years ago, well, several years ago now, probably, I was running with some friends on Summit Avenue in St. Paul, which is like this. It's like a fancy street.
Yeah.
And they were filming Dear White People, the movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And so we
on
watched,
Summit Avenue?
Yeah, in like one of those fancy houses or whatever. And we watched some of it. We watched it. We stopped and watched. And so when I saw this was on Netflix, I was like, oh, I have to check this out.
Yeah.
Because, I saw the filming of the movie.
Part of it.
5 years ago.
Oh, that's good. I am looking for a new show.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll give this a try.
I would love to talk about this with you.
Yeah.
If you want to watch it.
Yeah. How many episodes are there?
I don't know. I think there's 2 seasons now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you everybody for listening. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Homeschool Unrefined. You can also go to our website where you can find show notes and links to everything that we talked about. Our website is homeschoolunrefined.com, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Homeschool Unrefined was created by Maren Gorse and Angela Sizer. Thanks to Gambler's Daughter for providing the music for our show. You can find Gambler's Daughter at facebook.com/gamblersdaughtermusic.